Up, sound, test, everything's good. Hey, it's Evan from LUXBMX here, just back for another frequently asked Friday. Just going to go through some more of your questions that you've been asking. Another question we get asked quite a lot is when to replace your chain, or the importance of replacing your chain as they stretch, and they can eventually wear out your teeth on your sprocket. So the basic rule of thumb is that you want to replace your chain more frequently than your sprockets, and that'll kind of prolong the life of the teeth. So essentially your chain will stretch, and to sort of understand how a chain stretches, or what the chain stretch is, that's sort of the most important factor. Most of the time the chain doesn't actually stretch on the plates. So the pins themselves don't necessarily get any further apart, or the plates don't get any longer. Essentially the roller gets squeezed between the pin and the tooth of the sprocket, and as that gets squeezed, the roller diameter gets a little larger. So the wall thickness of the roller will get thinner, and the roller itself will get a little larger. As that gets larger, that's when you start to see your tooth wearing out, because it's trying to conform to the profile of that roller. Another important thing to think about with chains is obviously lubrication. A lot of the time we see people putting too much lubrication on chains, which can actually attract dirt and cause things to wear out a little bit quicker. You find the grit gets on the outside of the roller and the inside of the roller, but it can act as a bit of a grinding paste between the roller and the tooth. So really accentuating increasing the wear on everything. So realistically, the only place that you kind of need the lubrication on a chain is in the middle of the roller. So it's between the roller and the pin. A little bit of lubrication on the outside of the chain doesn't hurt. It'll certainly protect the surface of the chain and stop it from corroding. But the main load that you see on a chain is between the roller and the pin. So as everything is moving around, the roller becomes static to the tooth and stays fixed to the tooth as it's moving around, and it pivots around the roller. So that's where you're getting your load. So that's the only real place that the lubricant is really helping. So in most cases you can essentially put a drop of lubricant, or the appropriate type of lubricant, on the chain, on each of the rollers. Just work that around and then wipe off any excess. It really doesn't need much more than that. And that'll prolong the life of the chain and ensure that you get a good ride out of it. So. As far as how long you can run a chain for, it really does vary quite a lot. So it depends on the conditions that you're riding in. So obviously, if it's in dirtier conditions, you're going to find that's going to wear out a little bit quicker. You could be a lot harder on the drivetrain, if you're grinding and that sort of stuff, and it's being exposed to sort of sideways loads, things like that, the chain is going to certainly wear out faster. You will find on a smaller gear ratio, a 25/9 gear ratio, the chain will wear out faster than, say, on a 44/16. That's simply because there's more load on individual links, and it's not spread as evenly across the drivetrain. So you can get chain checkers that will, it's basically a tool that checks the wear on the roller. But yeah, I guess the best sort of the simple sort of thing is just to have a quick look at the chain, have a look at how the rollers move, and if they do have a lot of movement on the pin, it may be worth looking at a new chain. If you start to look at your sprockets and you see wear on your sprockets, there's probably a really good chance that the chain needs to be replaced. It could even be too late at that point, but I guess you just have to have a look at that point, how bad it is, and go from there. So that's basically a little bit of a run through on chain wear, chain stretch, drivetrain sort of stuff. If you have any questions in regards to that, certainly hit us up in the comments, or hit us up via our other channels. We'll see what we can do, get the answers for you. So.